Welcome to the upper frequency line. This is a recording of a live connection session with Eva and Therese. Please give yourself time to sit undisturbed during the connection. Sit comfortably with closed eyes or looking. Today I can feel a kind of excitement in the field, a sense of expectation and creativity as well. Like it's bursting with, or on the verge of bursting with creativity.
Yeah.
It's a very big open field too. Like anything is possible. You just have to reach out and grab it.
Yep.
Okay, let's have a look at the frequency line. There's a sense of there being several different levels sitting just above, like the space, today's space on the frequency line it appears to have like many different layers on top of it. Not that the line itself has moved up, but the space of
Yep.
has a number of different layers. So what happens if we step up into one of those layers? Oh, that's a bit disconcerting, the first one. A little bit like being on top of a very tall platform that sways slightly. What do you feel?
I'm not sure.
So there's like a slight anxious feeling with it, like definitely not.
It feels unstable.
Yeah, slightly unstable, like it's a slight movement in the wind, like
Yeah.
and not grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move up one more level. Let's see what's there. So that's much more up in the head area. Actually, the previous one was sort of in the solar plexus, lower chest area, where I felt it. This one, the second layer up is head. It's moved up into the head. I still get the sense of not grounded. It's like I'm cut off from the ground. What do you feel in the second layer?
I get a bit of a feeling that it's a little bit too much, as if when you go up too high, when you're afraid of heights, and
Yeah.
there's a kind of feeling.
Okay. All right, let's move up one more layer. Let's see what's there. Okay, so this is actually, for me, this is higher up in the head. This is like the top part of the head, maybe from the eyebrows up. It's a very lofty level, almost like looking down on everything else. And still not really any grounding. I can feel my feet, but I don't feel grounded.
Mm-mm.
All right, so let's move up one more level. Let's see what's there. Okay, so here, I feel a bit removed from being human, like looking down on the human me. More still as well, more peaceful, more quiet, but definitely not really associated with the body.
No, definitely not.
Like above body.
Yeah, out of body.
So the next level up. Yeah, this is a much more even less like body or human associated. This is more an eternal realm. Um,
I would, if I was to make sense of this, just right now, this could be a dying process.
it could be. Could
What
be, yeah.
the different stages when you die, kind of thing. I have no idea what it feels like, but if I was to put a guess on it,
Yeah.
it feels very, very soul-like now. It's so not connected to the body at all.
It's also a bit dazed. But yeah, the view is very much only on an eternal plane and not physical human reality at all. It's quite soothing, but
Yeah, it feels like there's no worry in the world here.
yeah, because it's very eternal. It's
Yeah.
no beginning and no end. Um, very, very long-term perspectives, like eons. All right, what happens if we go up one more level? I think there is one more. Okay, so the word that describes this level is singularity. There's absolutely nothing. It's just singularity. Like there's no thought. Blank. What do you feel here?
I don't know. I feel I don't know if I'm even feeling it. It's just I don't know. Kind of like I don't feel anything anymore.
Okay.
What are these levels for? Why are they showing themselves?
Let's go back down again to the actual line.
Oh,
Back into the body. Like a slide. Right. So if we now sit and sort of behold these levels above the line, and let's just see if anything will show up to make sense. Okay, so it seems to be the levels of consciousness within the construct.
yeah,
It's like looking into the matrix behind the interface that you see on your computer with a certain program. So normally you wouldn't see that structure behind it. You just see, the front end.
yeah.
So why is this showing up here on this day? So the initial words I got for that is to teach you how it works. But
There is some part of me. I'm not really understanding it, but there is some part of my brain that that I have felt that because it can kind of make sense of things a little bit more.
Yep.
Oh, that's why that's happening, and oh, that's how that that I don't know if it will feel, because I don't know if we will ever feel that way, but it's like it's like I've gotten a bit of a piece from the manual. I've gotten to piece from the manual that I never had, and I didn't know how it worked, and I didn't need it because I haven't been asked to go back to that or have that piece to work. But now I understand how that works. It feels like it might come in handy for me to understand something in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's like, background information for understanding the matrix of
Yeah.
things. Okay, going back, I'm drifting back into the field and into that possibilities and excitement.
it's definitely a piece. It's a piece of knowledge. It's almost a piece of treasure, though it doesn't feel like a treasure, but I still feel it as a treasure, because it's gonna come up and it's gonna be a very handy thing to have known and experienced and felt. I don't know, that's just how I feel it.
All right, let's check into the shield. Oh, it's quite dome-like again, but not made of clay this time. This is more. Interestingly, it shows up more like the Earth's atmosphere, like a layer of atmosphere at the edge of the dome. Ooh, there's also an interesting, kind of looks like symbols or runes or inscriptions into that layer, that sort of atmospheric layer at the edge of the field, at the edge of the shield field. Like some kind of coding. That makes it hold fast together like this, makes it stronger, knits it together stronger. And again, this is not that metal feeling layer. This is more like a living organism layer, like the atmosphere. But yeah, can you feel those kind of swirly things, like inscription or code of some sort?
It's not light language.
Yeah, light codes. Could be light codes.
It's not some kind of akashic records we're dealing with here.
No, I think it's still got to do with protection. So
yeah,
it's the shield. So it's like it's acquiring extra layers of protection through codes of some sort.
Yeah.
But what does it protect against? Let's look at psychic attack. So let's see if we don't have that. If we don't have that coding layer, what happens with psychic attacks? How much impact do we get from psychic attack? About a 5. And if we add that coding layer in the atmosphere layer, psychic attack glances off. 0. Wow.
Yep.
So it's some kind of warding, actually.
Yeah.
At what level are we talking about? Magic? Government? I don't know.
What about from other realms?
Other dimensions?
Mm.
Hmm. Okay, there's some response to that. It calls itself a dimension lock. That's interesting. Does it come from another dimension? Yes.
The codes themselves, or the
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's interesting, considering that the layers that we just experienced, which layer does it come from? Does it come from one of those layers? Second top layer, so the soul level. Yeah, it kind of appears like a tampering, anti-tampering layer.
Yeah.
You might find that there are ways to take the shields down, but
Yeah.
this kind of locks it in place so that it can't be tampered with. Well, that's interesting. All right, let's just sit with it without analyzing it. Let's just see how it feels with the shield. Feels very special,
Yeah, it does.
like a huge privilege.
I don't know. I have never had anything with the Faraday's cage to do. Then I haven't used anyone or and ever, but I get that sense of a Faraday's cage.
Yeah. So protection against frequency.
Yeah, and it's not just protection against that. It feels like it's protection against everything.
Yeah. Mm.
And it's not a sometimes when like protection, when I say protection, it can be harsh, like it's a boom, here it is, and you won't get closer. Just doesn't feel harsh.
That's the feel of the metal part of the shield. Yeah. But this is very different. This is
Yeah.
very, very special. It's very high level.
Yeah.
It's like if we were in a Hobbit movie or something, it would be the elven, like ancient elven ruins or something that wards against
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So actually, let's have a look at DNA. Have a look at our DNA. could it be protecting our DNA? If we consider what we were looking at yesterday, the changes in the DNA from the jab, the spike. So if we look at if we were injected, then it goes zoop, and holds against, like it tightens up against that. Wow.
So when you go back,
like it's kind of like it's open until in the face of a threat like that, then it goes zoop.
Yep.
So it's kind of like invisible until it detects a threat like that.
Yeah.
And it becomes grid, then you can see it actually. So that's very interesting. Yeah.
Is this has this been activated on all the other shields, or not just on us?
Okay, now I'm a bit curious. Is this on a physical DNA level, or is it, the 12 strands of DNA level?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it on the 2 strands of DNA level, or is it on the higher 12 strands? At physical level, about a 1. At the higher levels, it's a 10. So it's like some kind of, it's the protection against tampering with our higher levels of DNA that are like our next level DNA.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, you got it. Okay. All right. So to some degree, it protects the physical DNA, but not as nowhere near as much as it does on the higher levels and the other 10 strands, which is kind of like it feels to me like the future evolution sort of.
Yeah. Definitely.
So protecting against corruption of those DNA strands.
Yeah, bring them on.
Okay. And that ties into those levels that we were feeling being, I don't know if they were being created or if they were just being shown up on the frequency line. But it all like ties in together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that we know all of this, let's see if we just sit with the field. Actually, the bigger field has changed with understanding that. It actually feels like there's a protective layer around the field as well, like that warding, that like a thin layer of atmosphere around the whole field. making it like a bubble.
I felt indestructible before. It's like 10 times more now.
Yeah, yeah. And not just me, but the whole field.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like it's got the whole field has an insulating layer around the outside. Just like the atmosphere protects the earth and everything alive on the earth.
Yeah.
Without the atmosphere, nothing would be here.
So I wondering then, is this protection for the 25% that's up on the top line, or even for the ones on the bottom line? Would say like the ones on the bottom line would get the jab. Would that be different for the ones that would get the jab than the person who's up on the top line?
We might need to go to the bottom line to find out.
I don't feel like good down there.
There's no protection here. There's no shield. There's nothing.
No.
It's completely open and vulnerable.
Oh my God. Kind of hard to feel that actually for me, because it's like standing there watching a battle when you know they're gonna go and just all go to battle and they're all gonna get flattened, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that there's no one behind them, having their back. There's no cavalry behind them.
They feel very vulnerable.
Blind into battle. Oh, that's very hard to feel. Oof.
Without any form of protection.
Very hard to feel.
Yeah. All right, let's float up to our line. There we go. Wow, what a difference. Yeah, it's a lot. It's so much more than just the feeling of protection up here. It's like being one with everything. And it's like the eternal feeling. It's like heart connection. It's fully fledged human being feeling.
Yeah.
It's so much more than just a physical being. It's much more than that.
I can't help but feeling powerless for those poor. They're not poor people. I just need to get past that. That's their own choice. They're on their own journeys, and they making their own decisions. And and we're doing what we can. We have the invitation open.
Yeah. In a way, it feels like we're a ship. We're on a ship, waiting at the quay, um, and and uh, the gangway is still there for people to cross. You know, to come to the quay and get on the boat.
Yeah.
Um, but the tide, is near.
Yeah.
So there's a finite amount of time before the ship sails.
Yep.
But we're still holding it out for more people.
Yep.
More people to get through to the quay and step on board.
It would be crucial. That such a
But
big difference if they do.
departure is imminent. So yeah.
You think that departure is the 30th, or do you think it will be in?
I don't know, but it feels close.
Yeah, it does. And I'm feeling that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that feeling of helplessness that I can't do more, that there's not more coming on. Like I want everyone on that ship. But I just gotta accept that it's probably not gonna happen.
So what is it? So if we look at the 30th, that's the last few people coming on board. So what happens on the 1st of October? So there's a fire on the horizon. It's kind of what I see is like hills around the place. So it's like a slope down to this place where the quay is, which is kind of like a city or a town or something. And then there's the quay with the ship tied to the quay. And on the 1st, I can see fire at the top rim around this. It's kind of like half circle shape, the surrounding area. And so I can see fire. So it's like the ones that aren't already coming down and coming to the quay, like there won't be any way for all the others to come to the quay because there will be fire in the way.
Yeah.
So if we look a bit further into October, yeah, it's like wildfire. It's really high fire. October 10, the fire gets closer. 15, ashes. And the ship is already out in the bay, like out sailing. Actually still in the bay, but not completely gone. But nobody can get to the ship.
There might be someone able to get on that little dinghy and row their way out to the ship.
Yeah, it's interesting that the ship hasn't actually sailed completely, disappeared. It's still sort of hanging around. It's just out from,
yeah,
away from the fire. If I put it
yeah.
there. So we might be waiting for more people, even though they can't get to the ship at that point. But okay, let's come back to now. And now I'm back with the
excitement and
the excitement, the creativity, and the feeling of warding around the field actually. Which and it still gives me a sense of very special, very grateful,
Yeah.
very protected feeling. And actually, it doesn't completely feel like it's only us. Like it does feel like it's got something, the warding has something to do with other races or other, like the elves in a way, but not necessarily elves, but some higher level beings possibly involved with that warding. Like it's a technology from a higher level. And so that's why the feeling is like it's such a special, um, precious,
Yeah.
something precious.
It's still 25%.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't changed. All right. Well, I suppose that's good enough for today.
Perfect. Thank you.